Now, look what happens right after they take the fruit. Maybe you've read this before, but I want you to see it. After they took the fruit, both Adam and Eve, they immediately, their eyes were open, and they knew some things, they discerned some things, but they also realized they were naked. Okay, and so they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. In verse 8 it says, "And they heard the voice of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord amongst the trees of the garden." And in verse 9 it says that God said to Adam, "Where art thou?" And Adam said, "I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked." By the way, you would hide yourself too if you were naked. And he says, "And I hid myself." Now I have to point out the fact that every single person, young and old, you all do the same thing as I do. And that is, when there's something you're ashamed of, or when there's something you've done that you know you shouldn't have done, you always hide. The word hid in this passage, hide, is the word kabah, and it means to withdraw. It means to hide when things are difficult, to run away in shame, to have something that is a secret, and to keep things hidden because of that secrecy, to really refrain from being exposed because of guilt. And we all have that. And few of us acknowledge it, but I think it's important for us to understand that that's a natural reaction when things go wrong. By the way, it doesn't even have to be something you did intentionally. Maybe it's just something that happened in your life that you're ashamed of. Maybe it's something that happened in your family. I don't know what it is. When I was 8 years old, my dad and I were washing our beautiful 1987 Astro van. And this is a beauty. Look at that thing, man. We love this thing. We put like 500,000 miles on this thing. Family of 8. I'm one of 6 kids. I'm the oldest boy. So obviously I was out there washing the van with Dad, and he was getting the parts I couldn't reach. I was getting the parts I could. We were working away from the front to the back. My dad was standing on the back of this van, on the back ledge of this van, and he was wiping down the top of this van. And as I was working my way around the back door was open, and I slammed it shut, and I slammed my dad's pinky finger in the back door of that van. I didn't know I had done it until I heard a little squeak, and the little squeak, little air coming out of my dad's lungs, was followed up by a yell that was so loud. And it scared me so much that I ran in the house. And I left my dad with his pinky finger in that door, and he was banging on the top of that roof like a drum. And I'm going to tell you, I was in the corner of our basement under a pillow, and I could still hear it. My dad was banging. My mom ran out to the van, and she opened the door because he couldn't reach it. She opened the door. My dad found me under the pillow where I thought I was surely going to die. And he walked up and he said, "It was an accident. These things happen. Just next time, don't run. Open the door." My natural inclination was to run and hide. I want to tell you that's the natural inclination of every single person and Adam and Eve. It's instinctual. It's instinctual. I can't say that word. Can you guys say it? Okay. It's instinctive. It's something that just happens as a natural response. And I want to tell you something, that when we hide, many times we hide in escapism. Through our busy schedules, or through Instagram, or through Facebook, or some type of social media, we escape the pressures of life. Many times we avoid coming to church even because we don't want to be confronted with the things that ultimately bring us guilt and shame. But I want to encourage you not to hide from God. Don't hide from the God who loves you, who gave himself and gave his son to die for you and made a way of escape from your sin and from your shame.